Okay. Did a first video and it screwed up, so I'm going to try this one. Going to go over everything even faster than what I did last time. Number one, where are the files stored on the computer? The files are stored in the folder, just like in the My Documents folder. Here, mine's called Matt's folder. Pretty self-explanatory. There's all the documents and things of that nature. Two, how do we access applications? Applications are accessed in a couple of ways. Most of the applications are on the desktop that you're going to need. There are applications right here. This is kind of like the quick bar, you know. The main form where they're located is called the dashboard. So you just click on that, and you got two main ways of finding your applications. One, just typing them in, or two, you can just click on more applications, and there's right here where it says installed, there's all the applications that are installed. Okay, so that's how you find those. Real simple. How do we install applications? Installing applications is real simple. Just go to the Ubuntu Software Center right here, and this place is basically the easiest way to think about it. It's kind of like Amazon.com. You can look at all your different types of applications and games and all kinds of things of that nature, and I mean, it doesn't matter what it is, what you're looking for. It gives you the applications that are rated and top rated and explains what they're like, and it's real simple. If you just want to install it, you just click on the install button. But I already have this one installed. If you want to remove it, obviously just remove it. Real simple to use. So that's that. Getting on the internet, this is obviously very simple. Firefox and Chrome are on the desktop. They work exactly the same way they do in Windows. How do we access the Dropbox? This is the most important. You got two main ways to access the Dropbox. One is by clicking on the Dropbox icon and then clicking on Open Dropbox Folder. Everything you see here is synced on the servers in the cloud. So this means that if this physical machine I'm on right now were to be destroyed, this information would still be saved on their servers. You can access your Dropbox in two main ways. One is by installing the Dropbox icon on the desktop, which is already done for you. Or two, you can just go to Dropbox.com, sign in your username and password, and then you can access your stuff there. The second way of accessing the Dropbox folder is under Matt's folder. And here you can see Dropbox. And obviously if there's a big check on it, that means that that whole folder has been synchronized. Okay? Real simple. If you want to add a different account on the Dropbox, because right now I have my account, but let's say you want to add a different account. You just open up the Dropbox folder, go under Preferences, go under Account, and click Unlink this computer. Very simple. And then you could add whatever account you want to. But just realize that unlinking the account will delete the information not from the Dropbox in the cloud, but it will delete it from the Dropbox physically stored on the local machine. Okay? Alright, VirtualBox. This one's very important. This one's going to be used if you want to have the technicians access Windows while they're in Linux. We open up Dropbox, we'll click on Start, and basically what's going to happen is this is going to run a Windows virtual machine on the desktop. The computer doesn't know the difference between a virtual machine and a real machine. It thinks this is real, so that's why it allows us to run Windows XP within this window, which we call a box, a virtual box. And the way to use it is extremely simple. You just use it like you would normally use a Windows XP computer. Now, here's the most important thing. I'm just minimizing this. Here's the most important thing about this. I'm going to plug in my physical USB drive on my physical machine. I have to use these terms so you don't get confused. As you can see here, the physical drive I plugged in is right here. It's a Sand Cruiser flash drive. So let's pretend this is any type of USB device that we want to use in our virtual machine. How do we take this device that is physically connected to our Linux machine and use it on our virtual machine? It's very simple. Once it's physically inserted into the physical machine, then I have to go up to the top here under Devices. I'll go USB Devices and I'll choose SanDisk Cruiser. It should access this in my Windows now. Should be being the keyword here. And let me see. Okay, so there it is. It brings it up. So now within Windows, I have access to the same information. Okay. And not just the same information, but I have access to the actual physical device. And here it is right here. There it is. Now, that's called capturing. When you take something, you physically insert it to your physical machine, and then you want to use it in your virtual machine. It's called capturing. Now we need to what we call unmounting, which is the same thing as releasing. We want to release this drive back into, the Linux system, the real world. In the virtual machine, we'll do it just like we would normally. We'll safely remove hardware. Okay. And then we'll go back up here under Devices, back up the USB, and see where it's checked. We just check it. We just click it again, and it's going to uncheck it. Okay, now there it is right there. Alright. So now that we've done the Windows XP, I do not recommend leaving it running. You can, but it's going to drain your battery. I just recommend once you're done using it, just shut it down like you normally would, like any other Windows XP machine that you would use normally. Okay, now that's done. I'm just going to close out this manager here. Okay, and that's how you use virtual machines. Real simple. The other thing is Word and Excel. Very simple. On the desktop, this is the equivalent of Word. It's called LibreOffice Writer. Works exactly like Word. You can open all Word documents, edit all Word documents, save all Word documents. You got this one right here called LibreOffice Calc, which is the same thing as Excel. Works the same exact way. Not a big deal. Very simple. How do we access Wi-Fi? This is also very simple. You plug in your wireless Verizon wireless card, or if you want to use a hotspot, and you go up here to where the network icon is, and here you can see mine, Vaughn Technology Solutions, my network. I would just click on that, and then I would put that password in. So let me make sure it's not saving it here. Okay, so that's how that works. Real simple. Updates. Windows updates only Microsoft products. Linux updates all products. So if there's a new version of Firefox, there's a new version of Chrome, there's a new version of Adobe Reader, there's a new version of Adobe Flash, it doesn't matter what it is, it's going to update it all in one location. Where is that location? It's in the Update Manager. I would just double click this icon. Once it starts up, I'm going to hit check. And it's going to go onto the internet, because obviously you need to be on the internet in order to check updates. It's going to go on the internet, it's going to check for updates, and then it's going to come back and tell you if there's any and which ones you can install. So I do not have any. One more thing I do want to go over is your password. Anytime, Linux is more secure than Windows, period. If you want to install software, or you want to make what they call administrative changes, let me give you an example. I'm going to open up this, which you'll never use, Synaptic Package Manager. It's going to ask me for my password. Okay? You have to put in your password in order to do any type of administrative task. This forces the system to be more secure. So if you're at any risk of installing a virus, it requires you to consciously make a decision. That way nothing can go into your system without your consent. It's that simple. So just always remember your password. Just keep it simple. Okay, opening files, very simple. Let's open up the Dropbox. If I want to open any type of file, just double click it. Here we have an example of a PDF that I put. All I have to do is double click it, and the PDF reader should open up and open the file. And there it is. If I want to open up, this is an example of an Excel document, then I would just double click that document, and then there you go. Okay, real simple. Let's see, that pretty much covers everything. Benefits. This is, in my opinion, the most important. What are the benefits of using Linux versus using Windows? There are going to be some disadvantages. Let me go over the disadvantages first. There are going to be some disadvantages of using Linux over Windows, because you can't run Linux or Windows programs on Linux, and you can't run Linux programs on Windows. So you either need two things. One, to have a Windows virtual machine, which we have here, so we can run those Windows programs in that box. Okay, that's a surefire solution, 100% solution. Or we just need to find the equivalent of Windows applications on Linux. And let me give an example. Microsoft uses by default Internet Explorer. Linux by default uses Firefox. Okay, Microsoft uses Microsoft Office. Linux uses LibreOffice, or another program called OpenOffice. Okay, Microsoft uses MSN Messenger. Linux uses Pidgin. So this just to give you an idea, but the bottom line is, if you're not certain, then just look it up on the internet, look for any type of equivalent. You would look up in a Linux equivalent of a Microsoft program. It's that simple. But the bottom line, to keep things simple, is that the VirtualBox is there for you, so you can run 100% of all Windows XP programs on Linux. You don't have to flip-flop between Linux and Windows. You just open up your virtual machine, you use it like you would a Windows XP machine, and you're good to go. It's that simple. And if you need to use a USB device, then you just capture that device like we went over earlier. Okay, now back to the benefits. Benefits are no viruses. 100% no viruses. You'll never have to worry about, and I'm using the word never, you'll never have to worry about viruses. You never have to worry about malware. You never have to worry about spyware. You never have to worry about hackers. You never have to worry about any of that crap. Okay? Is it possible to hack into a Linux system? Absolutely. Is it possible to hack into a Windows system? Absolutely. But the chances of someone hacking into a Windows machine versus hacking into a Linux machine is a major, enormous difference. If someone hacks into your Linux machine, they pretty much got to be at the physical terminal. You don't have to worry about that. So you don't have to worry about that. The other thing is stable. It's extremely stable. This is very important because people are spending hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars on new laptops because they think their Windows system has died, when in reality it's a software problem. In my experience, most computer problems, I would say at least 95% of all computer problems involving crashes, failure to start up, are software related, because Windows operating system sucks. That's the bottom line. It sucks. Yes, I use it. I have to use it for business. I have to use it for my customers. I have to know the ins and outs of it. But the bottom line is that in terms of stability, in terms of security, it sucks. Period. So if you have a laptop that has Linux installed and it will not start up, then you know there's something wrong with the hardware. Then you can justify the decision between fixing the hardware or just buying a new one. Okay, this other one is that it's extremely fast. Okay, if I want to start a Word document, bam, there you go. If I want to get on the internet, Bam, there we go. It's real simple. If I want to open up, let's go back and open up that PDF again. If I want to open the PDF, there we go. You can take the same hardware, put Linux on it, and it's going to run at least 3 times faster. Linux is just a lot faster. It also saves on battery power because it's able to accomplish things a lot faster. The hard drive is not sitting there thrashing away and just spinning and consuming battery power. The 2 biggest things for laptops and battery are your screen and the brightness of your screen and your hard drive. Those are the 2 biggest things, and of course your video card and things like that, but I'd say the 2 biggest are your screen and your hard drive. If you got a hard drive that's just constantly thrashing away, you're not going to have battery power that's going to last very long. Linux completely saves that. I've even seen situations where it even doubles the battery life on the same hardware because it spends so much less time using processors to do simple tasks where Windows takes forever. Okay? The last thing about the benefits of Linux, and the most important in the situation that we're discussing here, is that it's cost effective. You are able to cut your IT costs down dramatically, and also your downtime costs dramatically, which are man hours that are not being used by having a working system. For the technicians out in the field, they just need something that's just going to work. They need something that's simple. They need something that's secure, something that's stable, and something that they're not going to have to worry about fixing all the time. Worst case scenario, something happens to the hardware. It's very simple. Linux gives you the ability to duplicate this exact setup that I have here, burn that exact setup on a DVD, and then install that to a new laptop, a used laptop, an old laptop, a semi-new laptop, makes no difference, in under 1 hour. And that's 1 hour for everything. That's 1 hour for applications. That's 1 hour for just everything that's going to make it work. You don't have to worry about drivers. You don't have to worry about codecs. You don't have to worry about updates. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Just copy your Linux image. That's what we call it, an image. Copy your Linux system onto one DVD. Burn that DVD. Install that DVD on any system, desktop or laptop, that you want, and you'll have a duplicate, identical system that you can duplicate as many times as you want. You don't have to worry about licensing. You don't have to worry about downtime, anything like that. So, worst case scenario, 100% realistic, a technician goes out in the field, drops his laptop, runs over it with his car, and sets it on fire. He gets a new laptop, and he needs to have a system back up and running with Dropbox and all these applications and everything working. All he has to do is take the DVD of this system that's been backed up, install it on that new laptop, and in under 1 hour, he'll have this exact same setup and the same exact setup he had before. Period. It's that simple. Whereas a Windows machine, you have to spend several hours reinstalling everything from scratch. Even they do have programs that allow you to go faster, but even a Windows machine, you still have to worry about drivers, you still have to worry about updates, you still have to worry about installing newer applications. With Linux, you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Just back up your system, burn it to a DVD, and install it on unlimited amount of systems that you want. New, old, used, crappy, beautiful, fast, slow, makes no difference. Okay? So that's the bottom line. For the Linux tutorial. There's going to be, I'm sure, questions, and there's definitely more things that you can do with Linux than this. But the bottom line is about for the technicians. The technicians have very limited uses for what they need from the system, and I've gone over all of these things. So it's just that simple. So I'm going to stop the